Shabbat Shalom. It's Culture Kids Corner.
Today we will be reading a new book. Yay! And it's called Ava Prepares for the Spring Feast by Ribqah Yahu. Let's get into the book.
Yay!
The Spring Feasts are a special time for Ava and her family. They observe it with traditional foods, and her parents tell her stories to help her remember that Yahuwah delivered the Israelites from Egypt. It is the first week of Abib, and Passover is right around the corner. Ava is excited to help her family prepare. She asked her Amma if she could help clean and remove all the leaven they could find from around the house. Her Amma agreed. That day, Ava and her Amma spent the whole day cleaning and organizing their living room, bedrooms, and kitchen. In the kitchen, they cleaned under the cabinets and the pantry and went through everything in the refrigerator. Next, Ava and her Amma went to their backyard garden to harvest a few herbs for the Passover meal and crops to offer to Yahuwah for the observance of first fruit. Together, they harvested bushels of dandelion leaves and roots, parsley, cabbage, peas, broccoli, and romaine lettuce. They placed them in a wooden crate and brought them inside to clean and prepare. Mm-hmm. Yep, they're preparing for the spring feast. The next day, Ava and her Amma walked to the grocery store. They went shopping for the remaining items for the Passover meal and the week of unleavened bread. Although Ava had helped around the house to prepare for the spring feasts before, this was her first time shopping with her Amma for Passover items. On the way to the store, she asked, "Amma, what do we need to buy?" Her Amma answered and said, "Bitter herbs like horseradish and coriander, potatoes for our roasted potatoes, olive oil and flour to make our unleavened bread, and the unleavened chocolate brownies that you love so much, and of course, lamb to roast by fire." Finally, Passover had arrived. Ava was filled with so much excitement. She woke up early, said a prayer, brushed her teeth, and washed her face, and straightened up her room. Afterward, Ava put on her prettiest dress and her favorite shoes. She looked in the mirror to make sure she looked nice, and then ran downstairs to help her Amma. As her Amma cooked, the delightful smell of the Passover meal filled the air. Ava was in charge of placing everything on the table. There were so many delicious foods that Ava couldn't wait until evening to eat. At evening, her family gathered around the table. First, her Abba led the family in prayer. They worshiped together and recounted the reasons they kept the feast. Then they partook in the Passover meal just as commanded. As she prepared for bed, Ava thought about how she would never forget this Passover and all the special memories she had made.
She looked forward to the next 7 days of the Feast of Unleavened Bread and the observance of first fruit.
She knew she would continue to observe the spring feast every year with her family and pass it on to her children someday.
The end.
Well, children, we hope and pray that you love this story called Ava Prepares for the Spring Feast by Ribqah Yahu. And we pray that you had a great Shabbat. This is Culture Kids Corner. We're saying Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We love you.